It is wild how much we have convinced ourselves that our free time needs to be productive. Everything has to have a plan, a strategy, a spreadsheet, some way to get the maximum value out of every second. And while intentionality, I'm fully behind, I believe in it's good. There is a line where it turns into just over-optimization. And that is its own basket of trouble. Take gaming, for example. This year, I really shifted how I play games. I made a very conscious effort to just focus on 1 or 2 games at a time, to actually finish the games as long as I was enjoying them, to try and not just buy a bunch of stuff because of FOMO and make my backlog bigger for the sake of, oh, well, this looks cool, I want it. And I'm looking now at the end of the year and I feel like it really worked. I enjoyed this year in gaming a lot. But here's where it gets tricky. There is a tightrope where you walk between intentionality and over-optimization. On the one side, there's a lot of freedom in your free time, and some days you just want to play something, and it doesn't have to be the 1 or 2 games that you're going after, right? There's this temptation now with the internet to turn everything into a system, a checklist, a big spreadsheet. And of course, if you go online, you can... There are productivity tips for every niche you can imagine. If you watch one, before you know it, your homepage is all, wake up at 5 a.m., take a cold shower, don't have any caffeine, you need to do the Pomodoro method and this spreadsheet to track this. And I'm a sucker for that stuff. I do like productivity tips, for sure. And I like being intentional with my time and not being distracted and not procrastinating. And systems can really help with that. But when it does come to our free time, I don't ever want to be in a zone where I'm so focused on extracting the most value from every second that I miss out on just the joys of free time and spontaneity being that. I don't want that for me. I don't want it for anyone else. The reason I started sharing my stories and thoughts this year about intentionality, it's not to push towards optimization of free time. It's to encourage to slow down and to think about what actually makes us happy. What do we actually enjoy? To give yourself the permission to stop doing something you don't enjoy. Stop playing that game. Maybe take a break from that multiplayer service. That's it. That's it. The goal was never to create this sense of the right way to spend your time, but to just honestly, what do you like doing? Systems can be cool, but don't optimize every single second. It is such a connected world at this time. It's easy to get in the loop where we feel the pressure to do things the right way, air quoting there. Maybe it's games or hobbies, even how you relax. There's the unspoken idea that you need to justify how you spend your time. It has to be productive, even in the downtime, or you're wasting it. Fun doesn't have to be productive. It doesn't always have to be justified. Fun is its own justification. And in this internet age, I have forgotten that a little bit. I found myself getting wrapped up in whether I'm spending my time the right way. Whether I'm choosing what's the next best game to play. How do I get the most out of this little block of free time? Honestly, I'm still working on it. I'm letting go of that pressure and just trying to trust myself and trying to do what I think feels right. I think it's important to feel confident in your own choices, to trust yourself enough to decide, hey, I like this or I don't like this. You don't need to live up to someone else's expectations. And on the internet age, you can search for affirmation in a heartbeat online. You can look up what's the consensus on this. How should I be playing this? How should I be doing this hobby? And there's always, 1 or 2 major flows that you can fall into. But is that good for us? I think we forget. Sometimes no plan, no productivity, no structure, just quiet. That's oftentimes where you discover what you like and what you don't like. You kind of need boredom. You need unstructured stretches of time to reconnect with yourself. That's where creative ideas come from. No screens or whatever. Here's one other thing to think about. I love the tool that the internet is. It is so cool, and I still think it is unbelievably unique. that you can share stories and conversations with more people than ever before. But it's also a really terrible place if you're looking for validation. Everyone is sharing their opinions, their own flows, their favorite ways to live, and that's really cool. Until you start thinking those opinions are better than your own. The internet's hive mind is really fickle. What's popular one week can get trashed the next. Trends come and go. If you're trying to chase them, you just can't catch up. That's why it's so important to be confident in your own choices, to figure out what works for you, not what works for someone else, or even worse, the internet hive mind. No one can tell you how to spend your free time better than you can. You know yourself better than anyone. That is confidence. It doesn't come from following the crowd. It comes from trusting your gut, trusting your instincts. Survivor is one of my favorite shows of all time. Watched a little when I was a kid, but a few years ago, went through and watched all of it. And the strong players have one thing in common. They always are trusting their gut. They trust their instincts. They trust themselves. Even though they're in a game that's all about lies and deception and false, signals, the only way to cut through is to have a really strong sense of trust in your own instincts. From knowing how to do it your way. And from letting go of that need of constant affirmation. And that's hard for me because I'm always looking, at least with trusted sources, friends, for feedback. What do you think about this? Is this the right direction? And oftentimes, I just need to go with my gut and to stand strong with that. I just think this whole year, it's been amazing getting to have this shift and getting to see hobbies differently and to share that online. But never the goal is to be like, this is the way to do it. It's one perspective. It's something that's kind of worked this year, but I'm going to shift it and do it differently next year. Try new things, try and grow. You have to find your own way. Great to listen to others, but be cautious of over-optimizing every single second. We need some just wasted time, quiet time, boredom, to sort of figure out who we are, what we like, and I don't know, where we fit. I want to thank you for watching, and thanks for an awesome week here on the channel. Enjoy the holiday if you're here in the US. There should be a new episode of the Dualcom podcast this Friday. I'll see you again very soon.